Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 6 p.m. 6-Pillar Marketing Framework Workshop. My name is Mihae An. I will be the host of the workshop today. We have just 30 minutes together, so let's get right to it. What is marketing's role in business in one sentence? There can be many different answers to that question, and I'm sure there are many things coming to your mind right now. To me, it is enabling exponential growth. When we have pigeonhole focus, such as increasing social media followers or website traffic, our marketing is not doing enough for our business, which leads to limited responsibilities, limited budget. That doesn't really do you, the marketer, or the business any favor. When we have enabling exponential growth as the key role and responsibility, marketing can involve many different things. It can be very broad and become overwhelming real quick. So having a framework, solid framework, like the 6 p.m. framework that you're looking at on your screen, can be very helpful and useful in terms of knowing what to prioritize, where to focus your energy and resources on. So 6 p.m. framework, what is it? We're looking at marketing like we're looking at a house. When we build a house, we first need to have a solid foundation in marketing that is working on your branding to establish desired perception with your target audience. And with a solid foundation, now we have the rooms, the main floor. In marketing, that is creating and executing your marketing strategy to attract your target audience, to engage your attracted audience, delight your engaged audience, and grow with your delighted audience. And on top of all of this, we have roof. Every house needs roof, right? So marketing also needs roof, and that is working with your data. Analyzing your data, collecting and analyzing your data is critical in marketing. So throughout the workshop, I will be going through each of these, the foundation, the rooms, and the roof, and share tips and templates that you can utilize to build your own 6 p.m. framework for your business. So let's start with the foundation, working on your branding to establish desired perception. Perception is our interpretation of the outer world. We humans need to rely on perception, because if we don't, we will be way too slow in making any type of daily decisions. Apparently, 95% of the decisions that we make, humans make, are done by our unconscious mind, not conscious mind. By the time we think our conscious mind made a decision, that decision was made 7 seconds prior by our unconscious mind. So features and benefits of your service or product, yes, they are important. They do help back up the decision that was made by our unconscious mind. But the initial decision that our unconscious mind makes, that is deeply, mostly influenced by how your brand makes your target audience feel. David Eagleman, he is one of the neuroscientists who talks about how powerful the perception, our human perception can be. And these two books are quite fascinating books. I recommend. So what does it mean in business? The business implication of all of this is that if you have a strong brand, you will have lower customer acquisition cost and increase customer lifetime value. So according to HBR, those customers of yours who are fully connected and satisfied and perceive the brand differentiation, the lifetime value that they bring to your business 52% higher compared to the baseline. And the baseline, as you can see there, are highly satisfied customers. So those customers who are emotionally connected to your brand, that much higher in terms of the lifetime value they bring to your business. So that's how powerful branding can be. And that's why branding is important and should be foundation of the 6 p.m. framework. So where to start? There are 4 steps to strengthen your brand. First step is self-awareness on your core competencies. Second is clear identification on your target audience and their problems that you can help solve. And third is emotions. What do you want your target audience to feel when they encounter your brand? And based on these 3, you can come up with your brand purpose statement that is the true reason for your brand's existence. So here's the first template that I will be sharing with you after the workshop is over. So in this table, the first row is the key questions, 4 key questions to ask yourself. And the second row are the key things to consider as you answer those key questions. So what are your core competencies? Consider this when you answer this question. What are your key achievements so far that can create credibility and trust with your target audience? Maybe testimonial, case study, certifications and awards that you've received so far. And what do you do better than your competitors? The key differentiators for you. Maybe it is the quality of your product or the speed of the product or service delivery. Maybe flexibility, maybe lower price. The next question is, who are your target audience? For B2B companies, some of the things to consider are geographic locations, industries, job functions, such as departments and seniority of those people that you want to reach out to, size of companies, revenue, etc. Some of the things to consider for B2C companies are age, family status, educational background, income level, location, previous purchase history and habits, and so on. And what problems are you solving? Meaning, what tangible benefits do you bring to your customers? Maybe achieving efficiency, like cost efficiency, you're saving them money, time, you're saving them time, or signaling social status or having peace of mind. And finally, emotions. What do you want people to feel? Do you want them to feel confident, happy, or relaxed, or maybe healthy or competent? Write down your answers, and based on those, think about what should be your brand purpose, the true reason for your brand's existence. Here's some examples to get you thinking about your own. Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. If you have a body, you're an athlete. Walmart, saving people money so they can live better. Amazon, to offer our customers the lowest possible prices, the best available selection, and the utmost convenience. And when you think about your own brand purpose, the concept of the golden circle by Simon Sinek can be very helpful. So he's saying the what and the how, yes, important, but the why is the crucial thing for you to think about. The commonality between the successful companies out there, they are very clear on their why. So he's saying very few organizations know why they do what they do. Why is not about making money, that's a result. Why is a purpose, cause, or belief. It's the very reason your organization exists. So he goes in depth about this concept in his book, Start With Why, and his TED Talk on this concept is right there. I will be sharing this deck with you too after the workshop is over. and a hyperlink is attached to the image, so you can conveniently click and go watch it if you want. Okay, moving on to the rooms of the house, the framework that is creating and executing your marketing strategy to attract, engage, delight, and grow with your audience. So here are 4 steps to start creating your marketing strategy. The first step is to know short-term and long-term business objectives. And second is to establish marketing objectives that are aligned with the business objectives. Marketing cannot and should not perform in vacuum. When marketing is actively contributing to achieving business objectives, then marketing is doing its job. So 3 tips here. Tip number 1 is to have short-term and long-term marketing objectives, both short-term and long-term. Marketing is a long game. Enabling exponential growth, that big goal, big role and responsibility for marketing, that is a long game. So expecting immediate results for every single marketing activity that you do, that is not realistic. But at the same time, if we cannot show short-term results and cannot prove any ROI in marketing investment, then it's a challenge. We may not be able to stay in the game and play the long game. So we need a balanced approach, both short-term and long-term objectives, and need to be able to achieve both. Tip number 2 is to have no more than 3 short-term objectives, because having too many objectives can lead to confusion and losing focus and not really sure about where to focus and what to prioritize. Tip number 3 is marketing BHAG, my favorite. So BHAG is big, hairy, audacious goal. So in addition to ambitious yet realistic short-term and long-term objectives, I recommend that we do have marketing BHAG. We may not be able to achieve the BHAG because it's big, hairy, audacious goal, but having it can excite you and your team. Excite them, and who knows, you can stretch and can achieve more than you could ever imagine. So that's tip number 3. Okay, back to the steps. Step number 3 is to now create your marketing strategy to attract, engage, delight, and grow. So we want to think about how to attract, engage, delight, and grow. And the 4th step is to define the key results and key indicators to measure. So let's look at those in more detail. So second template that I'm sharing with you is this. So again, the first row is the key questions to ask. And the second row is where your answers are going to go. So what are your business objectives? This current year, fiscal year's objectives. And if your business has clear goals, long-term goals, let's write them down here too. And second key question to ask is, what are marketing objectives? What is marketing's role in achieving these business objectives that we just identified? And with the key marketing objectives, not more than 3 for this current fiscal year. And we also want to think about 3 to 5 year long-term objectives. And now the next question to ask is, what marketing activities we need to perform to achieve these objectives. So for each objective, list of activities to do. And 4th is the key result and key indicators. So at least one key result for each objective and list of key indicators to measure. And finally, the BHAG. So let's talk about an example to make it more clear. If one of the business objectives is to, let's say, increase revenue by 5% this fiscal year, Marketing's role, one of the roles can be increasing the pipeline, generate leads in the top of the funnel. And activities that we need to do to achieve that, increase pipeline, to achieve, to help the business achieve 5% increase in revenue. We know from our own data, our history, and also the change of consumer behavior, website is critical in terms of lead generation. Okay, so we need to work on our website, whether it is content marketing, more content, or more offers on our website so people can easily find the offers or products, landing pages. And now key result and key indicators to measure. So key result. If we have a ratio that we follow, for example, 1 to 12 ratio, to close one deal, we need to have at least 12 leads in our pipeline. And also, to achieve 5% increase in revenue, we know how many deals we need to close in a year at what average deal size. So with this information, we know how many leads marketing team needs to generate. Let's say just random number, 100. We need to generate 100 leads. That can be the key result for this objective. Increasing pipeline, there is objective, and key result is 100 leads we need to generate. And key indicators can include, we talked about website. And based on our data and based on consumer behavior, we know at least 60%, again, random number, of the leads, 100 leads, need to come from website for us to achieve this objective. Okay, so that means at least 5 leads on a monthly basis on average we need to generate. So that can be key indicator. Every month, we need to generate at least 5 leads from our website. Another key indicator can be, for us to generate that many leads from website, we need to have traffic. We need to have people coming to our website. Otherwise, we cannot generate the leads. So the traffic can be key indicator, how many people that we need to attract to our website to be able to generate those numbers of leads. So those can be some of the key indicators to measure. So in addition to key results, we do want to measure key indicators, because if we don't do that throughout the year, how are we going to know whether we are on track or off track in terms of meeting our objective, and how to optimize our effort to meet the objective, right? So that's why both key results and key indicators are important. So the rooms of the framework, there are a lot more to it, certainly. And 30 minutes today is not enough to cover all the details. So there will be another workshop on June 24th. The next workshop will be deep dive in the rooms of the 6 p.m. framework. So if you'd like to learn more about the rooms specifically, and also receive more templates and whatnot, please sign up for the workshop. If you go to the chat area of the Zoom platform, you will see a link for registration. So please utilize that if you want. And also after the workshop, we'll be sending out a follow-up email with the deck and template, and also a link to the next workshop. Okay, so now moving on to the roof. Working with your data to optimize your effort. So data, again, is important, right? So we just talked about key results and key indicators to measure. Without working with our data, how will we know what to collect, which information to collect, and how we are going to measure those key results and indicators? So data is important. So here's 3 tips to start your data journey. Set a baseline. That's first tip. What data do you already have? You may have a ton of data already because you are not in the beginning of the data journey, but you're middle of the data journey. Or maybe you don't have much data yet, but every company has some data unless it is your day one. So think about what data you have, what information that you already have, and set a baseline from there. And moving on to identifying the needs. So now you know what data that you have. So what data can you and can you not collect and measure? So you have the objectives, key results, key indicators to measure from our previous activity. So now what data can you and can you not collect? And with that, what tools do you have and do you need? And finally, the third tip is to be creative. How else can you collect the necessary data instead of solely relying on marketing technology? So for example, as your marketing team grows, the responsibilities grow and the budget grows. And with that, more people are joining the team. And now when you look at your marketing P&L, profit and loss statement, the big chunk of number should be salary. So without knowing where your staff is spending their time, not to micromanage, but to understand where the resources are spent, how can we accurately come up with the true ROI, right? So that number should come from your staff. Like which marketing activities, which objectives, marketing objectives, have we spent most resources on? Does it make sense? Do we need to increase? Do we need to decrease? And how can we optimize? So creativity definitely has a place in marketing data journey. Okay, so with that, I will open up the floor for questions. The next workshop, again, it is June 24th. That's going to be around the rooms of the framework. Okay, thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, please mention those in the chat window. And if you don't get to ask those questions right now in the workshop, no problem. Please just reply to the follow email that we're going to be sending out, or connect with me on LinkedIn and shoot me the questions via LinkedIn as well. The LinkedIn link should be also in the chat area of the Zoom platform. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions. Okay, so one question that I see is whether this framework can be helpful for any industries, like nonprofit, finance. So yes, this framework can be useful for any industries or any size of companies, or whether you're B2B or B2C, like nonprofit, finance, manufacturing, can be very useful, whatever industry that you're in. Let's see. Oh, another question is, should your BHAG be numbers oriented or can it be high level? It can be anything. Yeah, BHAG is big, hairy, audacious goal. So it can be number oriented or it can be something more creative. Doesn't have to be numbers oriented. Another question that I see is budget. How do we know how much to spend in marketing? That is very common questions from lots of business owners and CEOs, actually. So the numbers that I've seen so far, between like 6 and 10% of the revenue, business tend to spend on marketing, but it varies quite a bit based on, depending on the industry that you are in. Typically, consumer goods companies tend to spend more than, for example, a B2B consulting company, for example, based on the margin and target audience and whatnot. And also, if you are startup versus established company, again, the amount of budget that you spend can be very different. It also depends on the brand recognition. Some companies have strong brand recognition already, some don't. As mentioned during the workshop, if you have strong brand recognition, the customer acquisition cost can be lower. So it depends. But June 2020 survey results, CMO survey result, is the most recent one that I've seen. Even though it was middle of the pandemic, June 2020, right? Companies who could spend and who could continue to spend their budget on marketing, they were planning to do so because they are aware of the importance of marketing going forward. So that's the trend that we see. Another thing that I want to mention is, again, data. When you know the cost per lead for your specific company, for your business, and you know the average deal size and conversion rate, it becomes so much easier all of a sudden to come up with the formula. Okay, if I spend this much money, my business will generate this many leads, and that will lead to this much revenue. I'm gonna make this much money for spending this much money. So it becomes quite clear that way. So again, data is important for many different reasons. Another question is marketing strategy within a timeline flexible to pivot in the middle of campaign? Yes, we do want to pivot and also optimize throughout the year if necessary. Again, data plays a role there. So just the fact that you have a framework, let's say you create a framework, 6 p.m. framework, before your fiscal year starts, that doesn't mean that you're stuck with it. You actually shouldn't have stuck with it. You don't want to be stuck with it. Based on the result that you see, you do want to change and optimize, so that way you can see better result. If something's not bringing the result that you are looking for, not showing any key indicators, then you want to ditch that and think about something else, or just slightly pivot to see better result.